Welcome to the Success with Jewelry podcast, where we invite you inside our conversations about business success and marketing for jewelry designers and entrepreneurs.
We're Larissa and Liz, jewelry marketing experts with a combined 16 years of experience in jewelry marketing and proven track records in helping jewelry brands meet their goals. When you listen to or watch this podcast, you get an intimate and exclusive peek behind the curtain of all the things you wish you could know about earning success in this industry.
Welcome to episode 102. In this episode, we'll reintroduce ourselves and share what we do outside of this podcast. You'll learn what we're both best at and how you can work with us. In the bonus content, we'll share the top things we're encouraging our clients to do right now. To get access to exclusive content as well as direct access to me and Larissa, sign up by visiting successwithjewelry.com. Hey, Larissa, let's get into it.
It's about time, right? It's about time we tell people who we are.
Have we ever done this before? I think maybe.
I don't know. I don't know if we've gone in depth. Oh, we've talked about like our business journeys, I believe.
Yeah, we did talk about that. But we were kind of thinking like we've done 100 episodes and we were just kind of wondering like, do people actually know what we do or like why we're here?
I know. They probably think success with jewelry is like our main gig. And that's the money maker.
It is not. But that would be fun if it was.
Yeah, I would love it. That.
Then we could go on tour and like do live shows like the other podcasts do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's not us. Let's just dive in. Larissa, let's start with you. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm Larissa Wirstiuk, and I have a jewelry marketing agency called Joy Joya. And we've been around since 2016. And as you can imagine, we only work with jewelry brands, and our approach is really holistic, looking at strategy, looking at story, and then translating all that through website content, email marketing, and social media strategy. And we work with all kinds of jewelry brands, solopreneurs, bigger companies, fine, fashion, demi-fine. But the main commonality with all of them is they sell jewelry and they have some sort of online sales channel. So we're helping them grow their e-commerce. And yeah.
You have like a big variety of clients, and also you have a team of people.
I do. Yes. I have a big variety of clients, and I think that makes it fun. I mean, we have clients that sell more impulse buy kind of jewelry, like $50 to $100 price point up to like multi-$1,000 fine luxury jewelry. And I do have a team of people helping me. So I'm kind of like the strategy behind everything, the like creative lead, but then I have an email specialist. I have client account managers. I have graphic designers that work with me. And so all of that together means that every single one of my clients, even if they don't have a marketing employee, or maybe they have one and they need a bigger team, we're coming as like a fully built team with experience in the industry. And that's kind of cool because it's like a turnkey solution for them.
I worked at an agency as one of my first jobs in digital marketing, and it was really cool because a brand would come to us and we would essentially be like their digital marketing department and have everything. Like there's no like other outsourcing that you need to do.
Yeah, it's really good for a business that's especially at more of like an awkward phase of growth. Like think of like a teenager who's like not a child, but not an adult yet. And they're kind of like in this awkward phase. Like we are really good at helping businesses in that space. Maybe they're not ready to hire like a full team, or they have like a marketing assistant, but nobody's really like leading the strategy there. And so like you're saying, we're just coming in and being the marketing department, but it costs less money than like hiring a bunch of individuals, paying them benefits, like dealing with the HR. And also you don't have to like train all those people because we already come with that experience. And I think that's really the main benefit.
And you also wrote a book.
I did back in 2020. That was my COVID project.
Oh, wow. So were you writing the book during COVID or was it coming out during COVID?
Yeah, no. So I had the idea like before the pandemic happened, and I think I was starting to like do the outline and everything. And then the pandemic happened, and I was like, wow, I have a lot of time on my hands. So I wrote it, I want to say from it came out in October 2020, and I think it took me like 9 months to write. So it was like truly like
A
a
book baby.
2020 project. Yeah.
It was a baby, your book. And
Yes,
then
the COVID baby.
the COVID baby. I had one of those too, but like a real one.
That's much more impressive.
No, the book is impressive and people love your book. If you've not read Larissa's book, go to where do people buy your book? On your website?
On my website or on Amazon. Also, you can search Jewelry Marketing Joy on Amazon and it's there.
You also have your own podcast, a solo
I do
podcast.
have my own podcast. So, yeah, if you listen to this one and you just like podcasts and you want more content, check out the Joy Joya podcast. I've been told that it's very different from this one, but still like complementary.
That's good. I did a webinar this week that was on direct outreach, and I was like, you know what the perfect complement to this webinar would be is our interview with Melissa from All the Brilliance,
Mhm.
because she kind of digs deeper into gifting and a nurturing strategy, and it really they both went well together.
Yeah, and hearing directly from a person that's like done it for real. I think that's such a great compliment.
Definitely. So, as a marketer in the jewelry industry, what do you feel like you're best at?
Email marketing is definitely our bread and butter. I I don't say we're an email marketing agency because email marketing is part of like a bigger strategy and scope of trying to make everything work together. But that's like the main deliverable that we really sink our teeth into and kind of like take off the plates of our clients. It's the one that we see the best return on because you can like directly attribute sales. You have direct access to the people that have already expressed interest in you. These are people like wanting to hear from you. And also, I think, especially for solopreneurs and small business owners with email marketing, it's kind of like a vast thing. And many people just don't know what they don't know about it. It's much more than just like sending an email, there's like a lot to it. And there are a lot of best practices and a lot of ways you can be doing it wrong. And so we like to make sure everyone's doing it right and getting the best results from it.
I'm on a few email lists of designers you work with, and they're really good emails. Some of them are some of my favorite emails that I've
Really? Can you give me an
received.
example?
Yeah. So there was one you sent for a designer where it was promoting like a collection or like some one of a kind pieces, but it was also like a story of one of their trips. And I thought that was a really good one. Just like weaving the personal into
Mhm.
it.
Yeah,
Um, I think that that's
it's
the
okay if you
best
can't think of
example.
any.
But
But
also, they're so consistent too. Like there's a consistency to it that I think is really good.
yeah, and I mean that's a big value for us and how we approach it. I don't know like how other agencies do it or what, but I think for jewelry it's all about the story. You can't just be like, here's a new product, here's a sale, here's a new thing. Look at this. Like it has to have some kind of substance to it. And so we try to infuse that into pretty much every email that we send.
And I think sometimes, like, I don't know if this is a concern of many designers, but sometimes they're like, well, I might lose my voice or it might not feel like me anymore. But, even though I know a few of the clients you work with and like I'm getting these emails, they don't feel like, I don't think first off, oh, this is Laryssa. I think, oh, this is the brand. And then I'm like, oh, Laryssa did that. Or like her team did that.
Yeah, totally. Well, we've had those conversations with clients and there's definitely feedback like, well, I might have said this like a little bit different, but for the most part, I think we nail it at least after like some back and forth and trial and error and being able to take that off the designer's plate or the business owner's plate is kind of more important than making sure it's like perfectly them. Like as long as it's like in the realm, I think that that's pretty good.
Yeah, and I think that it's such a good point there too is that like even if you hire a marketing agency, you still need to be involved. Even if
Yeah.
you're like, you can get less involved the longer you work with a certain company or a certain consultant, but it's so important that you like give feedback to make sure everything's, feeling like your voice and feeling like your brand.
Yes. There are some emails that we send for clients that are a little more personal by nature, and we'll send the client a questionnaire to get the actual words from them. And then they don't even have to write it fancy. They can just write bullet points, but then we can take that and be like, and translate it for the email. And that gives like much better results, especially when it's something that has to feel more personal.
That's how I work with some clients where it's like, if we're launching a new collection or there's some story we're telling about a piece or whatever, it's like we just like on our like weekly Zoom call talk about it and I take notes and then we just go from
Yeah.
there.
Perfect. Yeah. And it's important to know the better as the client, the stronger point of view and the more story you already have, the better results you'll get from us. Because then we don't have to make stuff up, you know?
That's so true. It's like doing the work of knowing your brand and knowing your audience is like the what you should do before you hire anyone so that you have a place like a way to drive them.
Yeah. We're just there to help amplify and clearly tell the story. We can't necessarily like make things up for you because we're not the creators.
Definitely. Well, very cool. So you do a lot.
We do a
We're
lot. And we also this year, because the economy's been so crazy. I mean, this has been something I've been trying to figure out for a while, even before the economy went nuts. But we also have different tiers of working with clients that we never had before. So we used to only do like higher ticket, more like hands-on marketing service. And now we have more like done with you options, more DIY options at lower price points where they still get like the Joya experience and the approach, but it's like a little less hands on from us, but they still feel like very supported. And that's great for jewelry business owners that are like very motivated and they want to have their hands on it and they want to do it, but maybe they're not sure if they're like doing it right or like they just need some help. So we help clients like that also.
very cool. Yeah, I think a lot of designers like want to do the work but aren't sure where to start or like need help with the consistency and the structure
Yeah.
and to be what you're actually going to say.
Exactly. Yeah. And so we've kind of been working in that capacity too. And it's very satisfying for us to see when someone has kind of like found their stride. Like maybe they've been doing it, but like floundering a little bit, and then it clicks for them and they're still doing it. They're like, oh, I get it now. I've kind of found my direction. I've found my cadence. And like we're kind of just there to make sure it keeps happening.
It's interesting because like a goal, one of my goals and like one of your goals with some of those programs that you run is like my goal is to get you to a point where you don't need me in a sense.
Yeah. Mhm.
And I love that because I want businesses to grow and I want people to find their own footing. But from a business perspective, it doesn't make the most sense.
I mean, yes, that's very true. We want them to do their own thing. But at the same time, as your business grows, you're going to need more help. I mean, I
That's true.
feel that way as a business owner. Like the problems don't, let's not say problems. The, I don't know, the challenges, the questions, they get more complex.
Hmm. Yep. The more your business grows, the more you need to grow your support team, which I think people don't think about because a lot of times it's like, oh, well, I want to grow my business. And like you're a solopreneur now. And it's like, well, if you grow your business, you need to grow your production, you need to grow your operations, you need to like grow all these other areas of it. And it's hard and it's important.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, unless what's that saying that you said about like staying small or something?
Oh,
I
the
can't remember.
hardest, who said that? Somebody said that on an interview once, and we both, I think about it a lot too, is like the hardest thing you'll ever do is stay small.
Yeah, and that might be the right choice for some people. Maybe they want like a certain type of business, and other people want to like keep growing and kind of see where it can take them. But to do that, you have to be prepared for the ways that you're going to have to scale. And that could be a growing pain.
Definitely. One of my goals is to stay small, to stay a solopreneur, which it is tricky sometimes because you have to say no to work if you can't do it.
Yeah. I I don't know. I feel like my business is like I feel like my business tells me what to do. I don't tell what my
It kind
business
of
what to
does. It's kind of like that. I think for any business owner, it's kind of like that. You kind of have things come at you and you kind of like go where it feels good.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, I guess we're going this way. Like it's beyond me now.
That's scary. That is why I like or I want to stay small is because I've been at points in my business where it feels beyond me and I don't like it. I feel scared.
Yeah. It's uncomfortable for sure. And not to say that I like don't have control over it or anything like that, but I feel like in a way it's guiding me.
Yeah, it's like your car's going like faster than you want it to and you're like trying to like hold onto the wheel.
Or like I'm a steward of it or something like whatever. I don't know. It's hard to explain. But yeah, that's what we do. And so if you need email marketing stuff, talk to us. I think the biggest thing, the one last thing I'll say is like when it comes to marketing, I find most jewelry business owners don't know what they don't know. And I don't want this to sound cocky, maybe it's not cocky, but like even if they work with our team like for a little bit or get an audit, they're like, oh my God, I didn't even realize there was like all of these other things that were involved in marketing and like what I should be doing. And it's like a whole world that gets opened up. So I think like being open to it is really important.
Yeah, I would definitely, and I do send people to Laryssa for email marketing, and I also send people to you for audits because I think that you put together a really thorough audits for people.
Yeah, we got some banging audits.
Yeah, for sure.
So Liz, tell us about you.
Yes, I do a lot of things. I've been in the industry a long time. I entered in 2012. I found a job on Craigslist working for a high-end independent jewelry designer in Boulder, Colorado. And it was kind of like a master's class in the jewelry industry. I got to go to the top trade shows in, Couture, Centurion, and learn the wholesale side of the business. But I also like really got to learn about marketing and learn marketing a luxury product, a very luxury product. So it was like just such an incredible experience. But from there, I was working for a designer who was really passionate about helping other designers. He was like not a gatekeeper with information. It was like anybody who asked a question can get an answer sort of thing. And I was really inspired by that. And I had an opportunity to start curating the new designer gallery at JA New York in 2016. And that was just a very cool experience for me because I was able to work with emerging brands and I was also able to use like all of the knowledge I had learned in my years in the industry. But what I saw from that is designers really want to support each other too. So that really inspired this idea for the Stay Gold Collective, which I started 5 years ago, which is like a group consulting program because I was also finding that a lot of the independent and emerging brands I wanted to work with couldn't afford or weren't ready to pay for a full-time consultant, which can be expensive. So I started this program that has grown quite a bit in the past 5 years, and it's something that I put a lot of focus into because I think that it's really important to offer information to emerging designers. And it's really, I think one of my strong points is like helping to educate and helping to guide people. And I really love working with independent and emerging brands. So I do that. And then I'm also curating a new emerging designer section, Curate It at New York Now. So that's something I'm working on too. And then I also have a couple of private clients where I manage their content strategy. So I'm doing their social media, like creating the content, managing the content, and then also email marketing too. So I kind of have a few different things going on in my business and I like the variety. I've never really chosen a lane. That's not necessarily worked for me. So I have a few things going on. And yeah, so people can work with me by like, I am looking for more one-on-one consulting clients. I also offer consulting calls and a few designers like check in with me monthly. So we do like a monthly consulting call, which I think a lot of designers find really helpful. But the easiest way you can work with me to kind of understand what I'm about is to join the Stay Gold Collective. And if you're interested, just shoot me a DM and I can give you a discount code. But that's probably one of my favorite things that I do in my job is just working with these designers in the Stay Gold Collective. And it's just such a cool community that's been built there.
I can't believe that you've had that for 5 years already. Like, where has time gone?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where time has gone. It does fly by. And like to have been in the jewelry industry for 12 years, I mean, it just, I feel old, you know? I've been doing this a long time. Not as long as many people in the industry, because I think the challenging thing about the jewelry industry is there's a lot of family businesses and there's a lot of second generation, third generation. So if you're truly like coming in it fresh, there's a lot of nuance to this industry. There's a lot that you don't know what you don't know, like exactly what you were saying, and it's hard to get that information. We're here to help. I think that why Laryssa and I like connected when we first connected and why, you know, we keep going with this podcast is because we really like, even though we're doing these businesses and like we do have to make money and all of that, like our goal is to support designers. Like that's like the core of what we're trying to do. And I think that that's something that really brings us together.
I definitely agree with that. And I think we're just naturally like passionate about the topic. And so we like to talk about it too.
Because it's, I think that a lot of designers make it so much harder on themselves.
Mhm.
And it doesn't have to be, I mean, it's definitely a challenge. Marketing's not easy at all, but a lot of people make it much, much more challenging on themselves. And it's like, if we give you some information, then it won't be as hard.
Yeah, I find like overthinking, perfectionism, those are things that hold a lot of people back. And I'm not to say the marketing's like easy because it's not, but it's also not rocket science. It's more, I mean, we say this all the time. Just be consistent, just be authentic. Don't like overthink beyond that.
Right. I mean, the simplest way to break it down, and in my webinar the other day, somebody was like, I'm like just starting. Like, how much time should I put to marketing? And I was kind of like, if you do the work of understanding your brand, the story that you're telling, and who you're speaking to, and then get consistent with how you're putting that information out there, you're set. And it won't actually, like, you know, if that like has to be the like the least amount of time thing that you spend on, that sentence didn't make sense. If that has to be something you don't spend a lot of time on, that's okay as long as you're clear about what you're trying to say and you're consistent in saying it.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'm sure we've said this before, but like the message is going to change, the marketing's going to change. But the more you procrastinate on being consistent, you're just like prolonging the time when you'll finally figure it all out because the consistency is what helps you like figure it out as you're working through it.
I will say that, I mean, yes, that's like our biggest piece of advice is that like consistency is everything. Like clear messaging, but consistency is what's going to pay off. I think that where it gets challenging is like you have to be consistent for a long time for it to like for you to start seeing results, and the results come in slowly.
Yeah. So it's hard to stay motivated and to keep coming up with ideas.
I know, but you got to do it. So, you know, talking to Laryssa, checking out her programs, thinking about the Stay Gold Collective, those are things that can help.
Yeah. I tell everyone to join Stay Gold.
I know, I'm going to get you an affiliate link.
I mean, it's just a no-brainer. Like to me, it's a no-brainer.
I think it's a no-brainer. When you join, you get access to the past 5 years of content too. And I had a gal just join maybe like a month or so ago, and I can see that she's been watching all of the content because she'll like it and comment on it or like send me a DM about it, which I love because I'm like, you know, I know people are watching all the time, but to actually like see what they're watching and all of that's very cool. But she just like came in and just like, I'm gonna consume all of this.
That's awesome. Get your
And
money's worth.
that's what I want people to do. And like, even if you, and I know this is like silly, I want to support designers so badly. Like, even if you come in for a couple of months and check it out and like consume as much content and then like pause it and come back later, I'm totally fine with it. I love it. I love people coming and going when they need it.
Can you talk more about the actual like experience of being in Stay Gold? Like, what does it look like from week to week or month to month?
Sure. Yeah. And that's a big question I get, and that's like actually like something I should put some thought into from a marketing perspective of like, how can I show people the inside, like what it looks like? Because I think the biggest selling point once you're in it is the community, but that's something that's so challenging to articulate even with testimonials. Like you don't feel it and feel how supportive it is until you're truly in it and you have questions and everyone's supporting you and answering them. So that's a harder sell, but really what it is, it's like a forum. So you go in and you can search different topics, but there's also like all these content buckets that you can click on, and there's like a whole list of videos in all of them under the certain topics. And we cover everything from marketing, sales. Those are like the main things we talk about just because that's where my experience is. But we have interviews with retailers, interviews with designers, interviews with people who handle legal things like contracts. And we've had chats about manufacturing. We've had chats about operations and trademarks. So kind of like everything in the realm of what you need to have a jewelry business. And it's very dynamic in the way I put out content. So every week I'm putting out at least 1 or 2 videos and I record them live. So you're welcome to join live, or you can watch the replay of it later. All of the chats are recorded and the replays are shared. So every week there's fresh content, but you could live in like watching, maybe you're interested in wholesale. Like there's tons of videos about wholesale. So like that's where you could spend your time. But it's very dynamic. So like right now we're talking about holiday planning. Today we're going to do a chat about like your website and like what you can do to kind of get it ready for holiday. So I'm trying to keep in mind as I'm developing content, like what is everybody thinking about in the moment? So it's not a course where it's like, this is the course and it doesn't change, or you have to follow these things, or this is how you have a successful jewelry business. There's a lot of people in this community that do demi-fine, are transitioning to fine, have a very high-end business, are just starting out, have been in business for a long time, and everybody's getting stuff out of it because the content is like very much like there are many ways to find success, and the content I'm putting out can help somebody who's emerging or somebody who's more seasoned.
Wow. That's a lot. That's amazing.
It's a
And then you
lot.
do one-on-ones too, right?
I do one-on-ones. I know it's wild. So I feel like I serve the community better when I understand what everybody is
Mhm.
focused on, and like I know the brands. So nobody's coming in to this like group of people and becoming faceless. You know what I mean? Like I want to know you and I want to know your business. So I don't want to be like just talking to like a faceless crowd. I want to understand who's out there. So I also offer a free welcome call when you join, and then also quarterly check-ins. So you can check in with me every single quarter. And I'm also always available via direct message, and we'll review emails and like answer questions like at any time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then your community members are like friends too, and they do meetups and
I
collabs and
know.
stuff. Yeah.
It's very, very cool. Right now we're working on a New York City Jewelry Week exhibition. So I
Mm.
like to try to do things outside, like fun additions, like fun other things. And we've done pop-ups in stores as a group. And I'm always trying, we've done some fundraising together. This project we're doing for New York City Jewelry Week is a charm necklace, and everybody who's decided to participate is sending a charm. So that should be pretty cool. But I'm always kind of trying to think outside of the box. Like if I could live in this, like I don't actually need to make money and I just want to like bring people together and do cool things that like help promote independent fine jewelry and these specific brands and their talent, like that's what I would do.
I love that. Go join the Stay Gold. It's a no-brainer. And you know what else is a no-brainer? Being an insider.
Being an insider, I know we don't talk about this enough. And I think that, to be very transparent, which Laryssa and I are always very transparent, it's our extended episodes are really good. The insider program is something we don't put enough like voice to. Like we don't talk about it enough. We don't promote it very well,
Mhm.
I think, but the insider episodes are very good.
Yeah, especially when we have guests, we kind of
Mhm.
keep the conversation rolling. There's so much good, insightful content that comes out in those extended episodes.
Yeah, and if you leave us a review or you send us a DM and let us like promote you on our Instagram page, we'll send you a 3-month trial so you can check it out.
Yeah. We want people to try it out because we know like it's the kind of thing you're like, But once you check it out, you'll probably like it a lot. So
Right. It's only $10 a month.
yeah. And we get woo woo too. And
We do. We do, which actually we should move on to our insider episode.
yeah, but anyway, we hope it's been good for you to learn more about who we are.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Laryssa, thanks for letting me pitch Stay Gold. I'm always practicing. Your elevator pitch is so good, which actually we should talk about elevator pitches. We should do that in an
Yeah,
episode.
Melissa's elevator pitch was so good. I mentioned
So good.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Have you wondered what we do outside of this podcast? Let us know. Visit successwithjewelry.com. And if you love the podcast, we'd love to hear from you. Send us a message or leave us a review. Thanks for being a part of our community.